today, January the 6th, 2023. Holy smokes, we're already in 2023. Boy, as we have been noting for quite some time now, the Fed has got really fighting this fight against inflation with one arm tied behind its back because of what's happening in the labor market. We have 10 million open jobs in the United States, and that makes the Fed's job very, very tough because one of the things the Fed wants to do, this is going to sound weird, one of the things the Fed wants to do is they want to weaken the jobs market. They want to weaken the labor market because they feel that's integral to getting inflation back down to the target rate of 2%. Now, we've seen inflation start to moderate already. We think the peak is behind us. We saw it go down in October. We saw it go down in November. We're waiting on December's information. But ultimately, if the CPI continues to trend down, even though jobs are holding steady or maybe even adding jobs, is that necessarily a bad thing? And maybe it's not. And we'll give you an example of exactly what happened today. I'm going to flip the screen around here and we're going to show you a huge rally today, massive improvement in mortgage interest rate pricing, which is very, very welcome, but not really anticipated. And I'll show you why. If we come down here and look at the January 6th information, we see the non-farm payrolls added 223,000 jobs against 200,000. That really isn't going in our favor. Really don't want to see strength and robust information coming out of the jobs report. We see unemployment going down from 3.7% to 3.5%. Now, we also saw some weakness in average hourly earnings. We saw some weakness in the manufacturing sector, so maybe this is having a hand in it. But all things considered, what one would think would happen when you get information like that about unemployment and about jobs is we're going to take it on the chin and interest rates are going to go up. The exact opposite happened today. What does that tell us?
I don't know, can't hold it back anymore. I don't know.
Well, I think what that tells us is that the market is saying, we hear you, Powell, we hear you, Federal Reserve, we don't 100% believe you. We don't 100% believe you that jobs and labor and unemployment, all of this stuff has to get worse in order to get inflation under control, and we're seeing that in how the market is reacting. One other interesting tidbit to note, I'm going to flip the screen back around here and show you one other thing. So the 30-year fixed rate mortgage has traditionally held an average of about a 1.7% higher. It's 170 basis points higher than the 10-year Treasury. So the 10-year Treasury and the 30-year fixed rate mortgage are very closely linked. And to put this another way, the spread between the two of these instruments, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage and the 10-year Treasury, averages about 170 basis points. So I went back and I did a little research. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So here we are in January of 2016, the 10-year Treasury, 2.09%. The 30-year fixed at 3.97. There's our spread at 188. In 17, we're at 177. In 18, we're at 137. 19, 180. 20, 196. You see where I'm going. 21, 157. 22, even this time last year, we're at 146. And then take a look at what happened in 2022. Take a look at what happened when the Fed started hiking interest rates. What started happening to the spread? In July of 2022, just about 6 or 7 months ago, 240 basis point spread. In November, when we saw interest rates eclipse 7%, we had a 319 basis point spread. And now here in January of 2023, we're at 263 basis points. What does all this tell you? All this says is that the Fed's rhetoric, the hawkish tone, this emphasis that we're going to keep raising rates and we're going to hold them high until we get inflation under control, is increasing the spread. And the moment that the market stops trusting that, the moment that the market starts to think maybe not, maybe that we're in for cuts or we're in for inflation coming down even without having to impact jobs, we may be heading back down to that 170 basis points, which we have historically seen. And if that happens, folks, we're back down to the mid fives if we can turn that around. Now, we're not there yet, but we did get some massive improvement today that saw interest rates dip down into the high fives. If we stay along this trend, we revert back to this 170 basis point spread, it's going to do a lot for home buyer affordability. It's something to keep our eye on as we make our way through January on into spring of 2023. In the meantime, if I can be of any service to you, don't hesitate to reach out, mark.milam@highlandmtg.com. Have a great weekend.